We are live. Welcome
Live.
back to RepTales. What episode are we on, Mike?
Volume 6.
Volume 6 of RepTales. This is going to be an exciting one, too. We have a very special guest. But first, we're going to go through and introduce ourselves and what we're doing here. Oh, our special guest got a sneak peek. And damn the Turtle Man.
Sorry, whoops. I'm never here.
Okay. No, that's cool. We are a group of cold-blooded fish keepers that also have fish channels, and we love reptiles. And we found that the two don't always mix as far as audiences, so we thought we would put together this Friday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time stream, so we could talk all about reptiles, amphibians. What else, guys? Are we going to do spiders?
Maybe later.
No spiders. Ugh.
We
Working on
might
it.
be doing arachnids. Is that what it is? Arachnids. But yes, but we have a very special guest. So whether you're a beginner or even just thinking about getting reptiles, or you've been keeping reptiles a long time, stay tuned because we're going to go lots of tales going on about different reptiles. And today we're going to put a special focus on turtles. And in case you didn't know, tortoises are turtles. Well, I guess it's testudoid. Testudoid. Testudos? I don't know. I'm just going to say turtle. I'm just going to say turtle. But not all turtles are tortoises. So anyway, we have Dan the Turtle Man here with us tonight, who drove
Hello.
3.5 hours to get here. That's
Oh,
amazing,
yes,
Dan.
I know. It took me a minute or two, but I've arrived. I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So just so you know who we are, I am Susie from Q Aquatics and Exotics. Mike,
Mike's Aquatics and Things.
Hello, Mike.
Pam,
Punchy Paints is my channel.
Cool.
yeah, she doesn't always remember her name, you know.
She's
Bob?
getting that a little up there in years.
And I'm Bob. Kaler's Aquatics and Exotics or Reptiles. It depends on what my channel name is that week. But I'm also the reason it says Codfather is I'm the Codfather of the Tennessee Fish Mafia. So.
Yes, he is. He's the Codfather. And we had Wally Kearns on, who was the Podfather, so you could tell we had a little family war going on for a little bit.
I see. Yeah, that's hilarious. Well, good to meet y'all. Thank you for having me
We are
on. That's
so
fantastic.
thrilled that you said that you wanted to come on. Oh my
Yes.
gosh. I've been watching Instagram until you were deleted, but you're having baby after baby after baby. I was like, oh my gosh. I found one baby in my pond. I thought I was going to lose my...
Well, that's how it started. It started with that I had them in my pond, and my female and male, they happen to be female and male. I got them when they were little nuggets, and I raised them, and they grew up, and they happened to be a male and female. And on their third year of life, I put them in the pond, and that year I check on my camera because I had a camera set up because I'm paranoid that something will happen to them. And I saw one of them, she was acting funny, wasn't eating, whatever. And I checked the camera at 2 a.m. She'd gone up, disappeared behind a bush. And 2 months later, I found a bunch of babies. And I was also losing my mind. So I know that it's
That's awesome. What kind of turtles?
Diamondback terrapins.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they're,
Well, I'm in Pennsylvania where they're okay to have,
yes.
but New Jersey, they're not.
New Jersey, you can get a permit. You can apply for the permit. The government's actually fairly, like, I don't want to say lax, but they because they're regulated, but it's not like a hard no. Like in New York, you can get a permit, but it's a hard no. In Florida, you can get a permit, but like it's a no. You know, you can also get a permit for a gopher tortoise in Florida, but that's
a hard no.
hard no. Most of the time.
I don't think Wyoming knows what permits are.
Permits
That's
are.
What state are you in, Dan?
Wyoming has no regulations on anything, I don't think.
That and Pennsylvania's fairly lax as well. I know that Pennsylvania used to be the Wild West of the reptile
Yeah,
world.
it used to be, but I'm allowed to be in possession of one eastern painted turtle only. I can only be in possession of one eastern musk turtle. I may not be in possession of anything spotted.
I know. Otherwise, it's such a shame.
I never go because you were doing a giveaway, right? Or was that for the Diamondbacks?
That was for the Terrapins. Yeah, because I wanted to celebrate 100,000, and I every year since the first babies that I ever got, I was like, I'm doing a giveaway. And I was like, every year that I get babies, I will do a giveaway because I used to love that when I was a little youngin, not too long ago. I was
Yep.
watching people do turtle stuff, do fish. I mean, I started with aquatics. That's why I'm very excited to be here. And when people did giveaways, I'd lose my mind.
Yeah.
Lose my marbles. So I was like, I want to be able to do that. And I have every year.
Pam is an artist, actually, and she does giveaways and she has auctions, and it's just mind blowing. I think I've only did one giveaway, and it wasn't even me. Santa Claus showed up on one of my streams and did a giveaway. So like, and I've been doing this 5 years. I've never done a giveaway. I don't even know how to do a giveaway.
It can get complicated. It really, like the first time I did it, my emails were flooded, and I was like, what have I done?
And you wanted people to send you their enclosures already set up, right?
Correct. I don't want. That's the same thing that I do, though. Even when I sell them, like when I have them available normally.
Yeah.
These are very special animals, a very particular species that you just have to know what you're doing.
Right.
And they're kind of, I don't want to say they're foolproof, but so long as you do, like, it's just, I always say clean heated water. Clean heated water, you will have no issues with hatchlings. So, and plenty of just fake plants that, I mean, you think about what they would do in the wild, they would just hide and eat. It's like me on weekends, just hide and eat. And so,
and they are so stinking cute. Oh my God.
They're such little nuggets. They're crazy. They're crazy.
What other kind of turtles do you have?
I'm downsizing because I'm moving. So I have 3 spotted turtles.
Oh.
I had a Barrett's box turtle that I just sent off to a friend of mine. That is also known as the Indo-Chinese box turtle. They're critically endangered. That is like, he was cool to have. That was a cool animal to keep. I have a Chinese box turtle, no Eastern box turtles. Is that it? And the rest are terrapins? The other 40-something animals are terrapins. Yeah.
Wow.
Of all different subspecies as well.
Now, do you have fishing with your terrapins?
Oh, yeah.
What kind of fish?
I started my channel as Dan the Guppy Man. Therefore, not a day will go by in which I do not keep guppies in some capacity. I love them. They're so stupid. I love cichlid people that look down on me, and they're like, your fish are my feeders. And I'm like, you know what? I don't really care. I love my guppies. They're cute. They breed. I have different strains. I think I have some koi guppies in with one of my spotted turtles. I have, here's a fun one. They're like, I think metallic blue, something like that. And I keep them in a 300-gallon stock tank because I used to watch Rachel O'Leary.
Yeah.
Younger, because I lived in Bucks County in Pennsylvania. So
Wait. You live in Bucks County?
I used to.
I live in Bucks County.
My first pond that I ever built is still in Bucks County.
Get out of here. I'm in the lower part of Bucks County.
I was near Doylestown.
Okay. 3 towns away from me.
I love Pennsylvania people. It's like, there's so many fish and reptile and like aquatic people there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I was part of the Bucks County Aquarium Society, and
that's my fish club. My mind is blowing.
I cannot express. They are the reason that I'm like here, like that. I continued and kept doing everything. I have gone in because they have like a Facebook group, and I was like, you guys, when I was, what was it, like 13 or whatever I was, just starting out. I went to my first meeting, and at the end of the auction, there was a bunch of plants left over, and they're like, here, just give it to the kid.
Yeah.
I went home with all these plants, food, supplies, random chemicals that, like, experienced keepers have coming out their ears. But for me, I was like, free stuff, free plants. I was so excited. I was losing my mind. And that
Is
was
Alice Shan in the chat? Alice Shan is in the Bucks County. Fish Nerd is the president of the Bucks County. She's in here. And
Ooh.
Scotty Fishy Freak, he's running the Keystone Clash. He's in the chat usually.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
we get a lot of Bucks County people in our chat.
Awesome. Yeah, that's fantastic. I always wanted to go back to the annual auction. That
And you said
annual
you're
auction,
moving. That's got to be a little stressful. Where are you moving to?
don't know yet. Probably a different part of South Carolina. Most likely.
Oh, okay. Cool.
It'll be
But you're not taking, you're taking some of your animals. What are you doing with all those diamondbacks?
I will take them. The
Okay.
turtles are coming.
Okay.
Probably almost all of them. I'm trying to keep very few. I wasn't supposed to keep any babies this year. One that hatched out that's like just pure white out of.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
It was a clutch of 8, and then the next clutch was of 7. And out of all of them, there was only one. It was like the most pure
Wow.
white, most beautiful freaking thing. And I was like, I'm so sorry, you have to stay. So it'll be interesting. But
So cool. Now, do you have other reptiles or other animals?
I don't. I had a dog. I had him for 12 and a half years and said goodbye in February. But I cannot complain. It was the best freaking time.
Yeah.
But no, I don't. I'm going to the Daytona Reptile Show next weekend. And
So is Eric Furlow.
Really?
Yes, he's
I
going.
see him here.
He's probably in here. He's usually a month. There's Furlow. Furlow's Aquatics. He is going also.
Awesome.
He's got
I will be
tons of
there.
reptiles and fish and.
Yeah, I will be there, but I always feel like a fraud when I go because I don't quite fit in with the reptile people because they have snakes and lizards and all things. I'm like, I have just turtles, and then the aquatics people, I'm like, I have feeder fish that survive and breed. Like, weird in between.
Oh, that's so funny. That is so funny. Well, I'm glad you came here to tell us your story.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
So what happened on Instagram? I know a lot of people go on Facebook jail, but I didn't know anybody goes in Instagram jail.
I went on it. I was a bad boy.
You
Bad
were.
boy. Shame on me. I did a giveaway, and that was enough for them to crack down. Technically, so I didn't know, but in your settings, if you scroll in, you can go to account and you can go to status, where they say if you have any strikes or like, hey, anything that's affecting your account. I didn't know that. So I only knew that after they had banned me. Even then, normally they will take down a post, they'll take down stories, and you'll get a message that says like, hey, no animal sales, or hey, whatever. So I think the giveaway was the straw that broke the camel's back. I didn't even advertise on there much when I had things available because I try to keep it all on my Patreon and whatnot because I give those people first dibs. But that was enough, and
Wow.
even then I was thankful that I had only had that account, with the number of followers that I had because I knew there was a creator called Tiki's Geckos.
Oh yeah.
100,000 followers.
Yeah.
Gone.
Wow.
They went poof. They got their account taken down as well. No warning, no nothing.
So when I heard you saying that, and and I just know how much, and I don't have that anywhere near that, but I've done 2 videos a week. I've posted. I've done all this work for 5 years. I can't even imagine if it was all just because that's a part of my identity now. Like good or bad, it doesn't matter. It's part of who I am, and I'm like, I would be devastated.
That's how I felt. I was like, it wasn't even the post that I had. It was 2 major things that hurt. My messages with my friends. I had a lot of funny things saved, like me like joking around. Like I miss or people that I don't talk to anymore. Whatever. Like are it's like valuable information when I'm talking turtle stuff. And my videos, right? There's a very fun. It's not technically a scam, but it's shady and icky, and I don't like it. And I made a whole video on it where these accounts will just rip people's videos of fish or turtles, and they'll brand the account usually like turtle based. They'll take the highest viewed, most popular videos from all different accounts, TikTok, wherever, Facebook, they'll snatch it from anywhere. They then post it and give credit, but like, you see a video, you don't go to follow who the credit was given to
Yeah,
follow.
yeah, right.
And that's, they give credit after saying follow me, follow us, Turtle Love Fan 01. And then they post all that stuff to get the followers up, and then they post, oh, buy our shirts, oh, buy our stuff, and they're like almost auto-generated. I have a whole video on it.
Oh my.
So why I was so annoyed was normally when I report someone that rips my video, because I'm not letting you can't free advertise.
Right.
Because my video, my baby turds, you can't use that to get followers to sell your stupid shirts. No, I want to sell my stupid shirts. But not even that. It's just annoying. I don't want them, when their video has more views than my original, I'm like, that's shady. That's icky. So you would need the original to, in your Instagram report, you would have to like have a link and say, well, here's my video and this is the direct copy of theirs. I couldn't do that anymore because my whole account was gone. So they freaking hyenas come out the woodwork and start taking all my videos. So when I got it back, I spent the afternoon just copying and pasting and mass recording.
Wow.
And, getting them back down. But I couldn't do it for like 2 weeks. They had free reign.
So I had just done a video and I had KG Tropicals playing in the background because I was actually using their video in my tutorial and I wanted to give credit to them. So it was playing and I got a strike saying any money you make will go to KG Tropical. So like I text John like, you're going to get my money and I got to run it back. He's like, no, they just say it's a copy strike, but you have to like argue it or whatever.
Yeah, you hit, it's because it automatically, YouTube, thankfully, this is why one good thing that YouTube does that Instagram doesn't have is that copyright system where they will scan someone's video. If I go right now, and I look on YouTube and I hit like copyright, like use my videos, it'll tell you what part of someone's video they use that belong to me.
Oh, wow.
So it will like help you there. Instagram, they don't do that because they don't care who posts it so long as it keeps people on the platform.
Yeah. I got you.
Yeah. So that copyright thing is a pain in the
neck.
All
right. Boyd, I didn't mean to derail away from turtles. I know the panel has tons and tons of questions about the turtles. I know Pan keeps turtles. I have a few surrender turtles that people have surrendered to me. So I know there's questions galore, and I'm sure there's questions in the chat as well.
Happy to answer.
First thing I wanted to ask, is there any kind of a process to get all that back, or is it just gone?
Like the account?
Mm-hmm.
There was, the issue is normally something goes wrong, you just call. A company does something, they say you order something and the box is damaged or whatever, you call them. There is no call, there is no nothing for Instagram. So I had to send report after appeal, and even then when I tried to send more than one, I couldn't send more than one every 30 hours. If I tried to submit it more than that, it would say like, oh, sorry, I did a whole video on it because
I saw it. I was like, I would have probably sent 25 messages and been banned again.
So instead what I did was, I was like, they're going to double down. They're going to be like, you're annoying. Now you're definitely not getting it back. You suck. Do it out of spite. What ended up happening, I don't know what helped me get it back, but they told me to send my mugshot with like a code. I submitted a bunch of appeals, and I told them, hey, my Facebook account, I want to run ads on Instagram, so give me my account back so I can give you guys money. I'm not running ads. I'm not giving them any money. But when you say that, you take it a lot more seriously. So
okay.
I think it worked. I don't know, but now I have to be on my best behavior.
Yes.
To be a good boy.
Not always good. Not always easy to do.
No, it's very difficult, but it's fine.
Because not only do you have the social media police, there's also the fish police and turtle police out there.
Oh, I don't care about that.
Oh, I had somebody call me out on a crayfish I had. He's like, you better take that down. You got a crayfish. You're in Pennsylvania. I'm like, are you kidding me?
What do you
took down?
Oh.
Because I'm afraid if somebody came to my house. That's it. There goes.
Yep.
I don't trust government, so I'm like,
Correct.
I'm seeing my turtles.
Correct. Technically, everything I do is like totally kosher and legal. Doesn't mean that I want them coming and snooping and looking at all my stuff.
Exactly.
No thanks.
Now, Pam's got some turtles inside her house, which I think is fascinating. Do you have turtles inside your house at all?
Oh yeah, yeah. I have a couple. Some of the babies. Who else? One of my spotted turtles got bit by something. I was told it's a rat, but I don't know. I just
Oh
picked up.
no.
This young lady has just a notch in one of her back scoots,
Okay.
and it was bleeding a little bit, and she had some like marks and some pits on her plastron underneath, like something tried to bite her. So I brought her inside, kept totally clean water, did antibiotics, all that fun stuff. She just shed the bottom scoop, which came off, which looks good. The other part is starting to heal, so she's in her a little nursery tank, a little hospital tank,
Yeah.
which is just 20 gallon. That's where I have my koi guppies. She has, how do I put it, taken care of half
The population.
a little bit. Which,
We call that enrichment for the turtle.
yes, she was very enriched, which I wasn't too happy about. She got my favorite one, but I can't blame her. It's fine. She's doing better, and they're guppies. They're rabbits. They will bounce back as soon as she's gone, especially with the plants that I have in there. So
Okay, and so the scoot will grow back unscathed.
it will scar. It'll scar over and harden, and she'll just have that notch in her skin. But you know, there's terrapins, even like turtles in general. But I know of a singular diamondback terrapin in New Jersey who's missing a back leg. She's missing a back flipper, and she still manages to nest every single year for the past 4 or 5 years.
Wow.
She, returns. So they're tough cookies, basically.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, I've had mine 5 years, and he's been through. I didn't know it. I couldn't find him. He overwintered outside, and I realized, okay, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, maybe not so bad, but
they're okay. Yeah.
do you ever bring yours in for the winter to what is it, brumate? Or do you let them stay outside?
Usually I let them stay outside, which is some people question because I have yearlings that'll hit about 4 inches, about yay big, and there's no reason for them to brumate because one of the main parts of brumation is for reproductive cycles. So it helps the females get their biological clock in check. However, I find it's more natural, and I find that they're a little bit more robust if I let them overwinter, and I don't have to take care of them or like set them up in something. So they've done okay, and so I try not to bring anybody that doesn't have to come inside. I have had a case where there was one critter who she's the Gulf Coast of Florida subspecies of terrapin, and I said, well, Gulf Coast, Florida, South Carolina, she should be able to handle the winter. Her sister was able to handle the winter, but actually it was a male. He was not able to. He just wouldn't sleep. So I brought him inside, and there was another one that had an ear abscess that I noticed halfway through winter. I'm like, you're coming inside. But usually if they can handle the winter, I let them stick it.
Okay. And when you treat them, you usually treat them yourself? Like you have a good idea of what they need and do you ever, I got to get gross here. Do you ever look at their poop under a microscope?
No, but I would really like to. I'd really like to because I quarantine now, but I used to kind of not. And so I'm very curious as to who's got what. I've dealt with tapeworms once, but I have not seen any in the pond, so I think they're okay.
Oh, cool. Mm-hmm. All right, Pam.
When I was a kid, we had a eastern box turtle.
Oh yeah.
And that was my first turtle, and its name was Myrtle the Turtle.
That's classic.
Yeah, but we had great big. I lived in outside of Portland, Oregon, where I grew up. We had a great big box in the backyard, a great big wooden box that my dad built for it, and it was like half full of dirt. And every winter, it would just like dig down in the dirt and hibernate. Yep. And I remember one time, oh gosh, it'd been like 3 or 4 years. And I was sitting in the living room looking out the window, and all of a sudden I see the turtle walking across the yard because the bottom of the box evidently had rotted out, so it like went down and hibernated and came up outside of the box.
My biggest fear, that because I have a box turtle and I'm always paranoid about something, and that you were keeping turtles then the right way before most people were keeping turtles the right way, because that is the way to do it. Something that's native, something that can handle your winter. You set them up outside, you give them the tools that they need to hibernate, and they'll be fine. People are surprised how far down
Yeah.
they dig. But that's hilarious. And that's exactly what happened with one of my box turtles, except it was in the summer when it was raining. The rain gets those box turtles moving because that's food and water, and you can move, and usually there's not predators out. So I had a friend over, looks out my backyard, and he says, "Hey, is that your turtle, or is that a wild one? There's a little Chinese box turtle, not native to South Carolina."
Yeah.
Trying to haul butt and get out of there. Oh, Otis, little disaster turtle. But yeah, that'll happen. I'm glad that you found it though. But they'll dig. That's why a lot of people will not only have the fence, but also go down, 6 inches, 12 inches, depending on what species you have.
For somebody watching that doesn't have a turtle,
Mm-hmm.
and is thinking about, where this is going, is thinking about getting one, or they recently got one, and they could use some pointers from your experience. What kind of things could you kind of walk them through, the steps of getting one and that kind of thing?
Sure. So it's going to depend on what size, but this goes very, very general for babies, for adults, for nearly all species. I'm going to talk more aquatic, but this can go for box turtles too. Heated clean water, 82. For babies, I do 85 just because I'm paranoid, and I like to get them going. Heated clean water and UVB, and you are set. You're better off even with UVB and like not a heat lamp than having the heat and no UVB. What am I thinking? All-in-one bulbs, though, that's like the most expensive part for me with keeping turtles. That's why I like to keep them outside also. The sun is free. And so do as much research as you can, but you make sure that water's filtered, you make sure that it's clean and it's warm, and you make sure that they have access to UVB, you will go far. And keep them naturally. Figure out what species you have. You have a spotted turtle, toss in some plants. You have a hatchling terrapin, don't keep it in a little baby in a 20-gallon tank with like one little plant and deep water. They like a little more shallow water with a ton of plants for them to kind of hide in. If you've got a red ear slider, you're going to spend, what, $120 on a 70-gallon tank? Get a 110-gallon stock tank, $70. Go as big as you can. Try not to provide the bare minimum. I do bare minimum for babies because that way I can keep an eye on them. For larger animals, go big, and never stop improving. Because I still don't. There's still things that I do, even with my pond, where I'm like, this doesn't work, this is not right. Constantly learning. When it's time to do a water change, right now, go ahead.
Well, that made me think a lot of parents that might listen to this with a child. That sounds good, but what about, especially back in my day, people would often get salmonella or things from turtles and other reptiles. So what kind would you recommend as a safety measure, health measure, not to pick up things from turtles?
So the salmonella thing, we believe, was from actually the fact that they had so many turtles at these farms that they would feed them raw chicken, and we believe that that's how the salmonella is transferred. Statistically, there's actually no greater chance of getting salmonella from a baby turtle as there is maybe something like a bird, like a pet bird. But kids usually don't stick pet birds in their mouths. They might stick a baby turtle in their mouth or reach in and get all nasty. So I do get those comments fairly often, especially on my
Actually, how I feel about it is I remember when they passed the law that you couldn't sell baby turtles anymore because of salmonella and stuff. And I actually think it was a good thing, not because of the salmonella, but because they used to sell, when I was growing up, they would sell baby turtles in these little plastic tubs with a little island with a palm tree in the middle of it.
Yep.
You know how many of those poor little guys probably died?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, so I think it was a good thing they quit selling them because of that, because that was just dumbass thing to do.
I would agree, and that goes with the fact that people would think that they're disposable, and the issue is that
Yeah, exactly.
to answer the previous question, just wash your hands. Literally, just wash your hands. You'll have no problem.
Yeah, and you know how many people I knew that would get a baby turtle, and then when it died, they'd just like wash the tub out and get another one. You know, it's like, oh well, get another baby.
Yeah.
That's how I got my first turtle. It was in South Carolina in Myrtle Beach. Illegally, they were selling them in souvenir shops.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, with those little plastic containers. Now I did all my research beforehand. I was like, this is a red ear slider. It's going to get huge. I'm going to build it a pond. I know how to take care of it. All that fun stuff. But yeah, for people who don't know any better.
Yeah, that's what I have now is 2 red-eared sliders.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got them, they were like about the size of a quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Their shells, and that was 15 years ago, and they've grown quite a bit.
They do that.
Now they're in a 100-gallon tub in my house.
Perfect. I love it. I love to hear that. I don't know. I think I'm insane. I think that we're all like at least a little nutty. But I was like, why would you not want a 100-gallon, 110-gallon like mini pond in your house that has turtles and you can keep fish and whatever else in that? Like, I think it's cool. That's a conversation piece.
Yeah.
If I say so.
Yeah, I don't have a couch. I have a 100-gallon tub.
There you go. Perfect. What more would you need?
Yeah. Greg Jones used to post videos all the time before our family. Yeah, and he had a 300-gallon tub. It's like, wow.
Yep. That's my bare minimum now. I'm actually insane to the point
300 is your bare minimum now?
Yeah, I put mine in the 300 and I'm like, it's not enough. Why am I doing this? Like freaking out because I have them in the just when I see them behave, and they'll survive, thrive, and breed in a tub, in a 300-gallon tub. I mean, they're just fine.
Okay.
But there's something when I move them to something bigger, they stop.
I don't think I could get a 300-gallon tub in my door, though.
No,
I think I remember Greg Jones lying down in it like this, and there was still room.
Yep. I remember he had to use bungees and straps to compress it in order to fit it through the door. He was actually the reason that I did a 300-gallon tub in Pennsylvania. I would roll it down the steps in the winter into the basement, and I would keep it set up there in the winter and then roll it back out usually in May.
Oh my.
Oh yeah, I was nuts.
That thing is heavy. Empty, it's heavy.
Yeah,
I can't even imagine.
It's actually not it was not terrible. I rolled it.
Okay.
But it was interesting. But so to circle back, baby turks, wash your hands, salmonella, overhyped, not really a huge deal, but also you might get a baby turtle, even if it's cheap, even if it's free.
Don't stick the turtle in your mouth and wash your hands when you're done playing with it.
I did a video on that. It's called it was like why they don't sell baby turtles anymore, and it was actually on that.
Yeah, but like I say, I think the side effect of them not selling people baby turtles constantly was a good thing because
when they go to get a foreign
people
turtle,
were
it's not
treating them
as
like they were
huge.
disposable, they just like have them in this little tiny tub, and then they died, and they just get another one.
Well,
sorry.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Dan.
The contrary to that is that they grow, they get huge, and then you release them. Now you have invasive species on all continents except Antarctica.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, can I ask? I don't have any turtles, but I have other reptiles, snakes and skinks and things. So you're constantly having, with new ones especially, to quarantine and worry about external parasites. What about turtles? Are there any external parasites that someone should be concerned about spreading or catching? Or
External, not that I'm aware of, that you'll see like hitchhikers on them. I know fish, that's a thing. Internal, though, it's why I don't feed snails. Snails are just a high risk animal. Like, so this goes in the question: what do I recommend feeding them?
Yeah.
Depends what species. When they're younger, I do more protein heavy. When they're older, it depends what species. So I have terrapins naturally in the wild. They're weird. Technically, they're carnivores. But they graze on protein items. So they eat snails and mollusks, but they graze on them. So they get these big fat heads. The females, they're called what is it? My buddy makes fun of the way that I enunciate it, but I say megacephalic. He says megacephalic. They get these big heads that are from eating these protein type of items. So terrapins are more protein heavy, and I don't really feed mine veggies because I'll see them graze on the outside. That's enough for them. Other things, sliders eat more veggies sometimes. They'll eat lettuce and whatnot. It depends on what species you have. A box turtle is an omnivore. You're going to give it fruits and veggies and whatever, squash, sweet potato, mushrooms. I share salads sometimes with my
Tomatoes. They love cherry tomatoes.
They love tomatoes. I pick them from the garden and just toss them into the box turtle.
When I was a kid, I gave mine a whole bag of cherry tomatoes that the neighbor handed over the fence for my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up giving them all to the turtle one at a time, and which was fine for a couple days till the neighbor asked my mom how she liked the tomatoes.
Oh
You're
boy.
welcome.
Then I was in trouble.
Yep. My sister-in-law would yell at me when they were living at my house, and be like, "Oh, she'd be cutting up fish like salmon or something." I'd be like, "Hey, can I like get a little bit of that?" She would, and at first she's like, "Yeah, sure, no problem." But I'd run away with it. She's like, "What are you doing?" And then now it's, "What are you going to use this for? Is it for stupid turtle?" I'm like, "Maybe," or like she's chopping up mushrooms or something. I'm like, "Oh, like give me the bottom end." I'm like, "Fine, then give me the bad piece. Like give me the nasty like
Yeah.
mushroom then." Yeah, I vary. Just today, I gave mine bait shrimp. I took them out one at a time because they get a little too crazy when there's shrimp in the water. And you just vary it. Crickets sometimes, things for them to chase.
Okay.
Like for terrapins, I go more seafood because they're brackish water species that live in the marsh. Although they can be born and raised and bred in fresh water, is what I do. A spotted turtle. Think spotted turtles. Think about where it lives, what it's going to eat. It lives in the forest. It's going to eat crickets. It's going to eat worms, snails, slugs, fish, whatever it can find. So that's what I give to my spotted turtles. I sort of go with that. But a staple food is pellets. Like find a good high quality pellet. I mix a whole bunch of pellets in a 5-gallon bucket and dried mealworms, dried fish, dried shrimp, and I mix it all in a 5-gallon bucket. And they'll pick what they like first, what they like best first, and then they'll eat the other pellets. So over time, I'm starting to figure out what they like and what they don't like. Because Aquamax, they don't like that much. And now Atari, apparently, which is a good brand and good food and has garlic in it, and they hate it. I bought this for you. Eat it.
You know what I feed my red-eared sliders?
Mm-hmm.
Their main diet is cat food because it floats. It's high protein. They love it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what their main diet is. They get stuff like shrimp and fish and stuff like that, when I have it. But their main diet is cat food.
Red-eared sliders, when they get older, funny enough, they like veggies. Like they would eat like the vegetation, like vegetable matter, more so than protein foods, which is interesting. I've had to, like my box turtle, they're like kids. If you give them high protein shrimp and whatnot, like they'll only eat that. But I had to, I hate to put it this way, I had to like break this box turtle. It's a Vietnamese box turtle. Super rare, so I need to be very strict and regimented with how I raise it. My buddy looks at its plastron. He's bred these animals for years, and he goes, "It's a little chunky. What are you doing? How many pellets are you giving it?" "Oh no!" He goes, "You need to give it lettuce and mostly and veggies." So I had to wait that boy out for
Oh
4 days.
boy.
For 4 days, he got nothing but lettuce
I
until
bet he was mad.
I put a little bit of tuna water on that lettuce, and then he ate it, and that was it. Now he eats his veggies like a good boy.
Oh,
Yeah, my turtles won't eat lettuce, but they will eat any duckweed that I throw in there.
That's good stuff. That's fantastic.
yeah, duckweed, water hyacinth, water lettuce. I can't keep that in my ponds anymore because my 2,000-gallon pond has a yellow belly and a red ear in there, and all plants are gone. All plants are gone.
Yep, they're buggers. They'll do that. I had a red ear slider. I had a Cumberland slider, map turtle, some other things, and the only one that would eat those plants was a Cumberland slider, a male. It's got these really long nails. So I had water lettuce coming out my ears. I had the 300-gallon stock tank, and I had like a 1,500, 2,000-gallon pond that was covered in water lettuce and water hyacinth. But there was none in the 300. So I was like, let me put a bunch in. And I said, I'm going to test him. How much can you possibly eat? You're not going to eat it all. Some of it will survive.
They'll eat it all.
He didn't even eat it. He shredded it with them nails. He would just dig in because he liked to eat the leaves and leave the roots, and then it clogged all the filters. And that was
My yellow belly clumps them together and then curls up on top of it.
Huh.
So she makes her own little basking island. She just pulls it together. I'm like, okay, they're now dead. Thank you, Dina.
Yep. Man, when I would mix in foods for my box turtle, she would go in and pick what she liked best first and then start eating the other stuff. And that's why I did an internship at the Turtle Survival Alliance, and they would have a food processor that we would blend all the food and pellets and this and that all in the food processor. That's why it's like that way. It's like, well, now you can't pick what you want. You have to eat your veggies too with your meat. But
that's smart. I do that with my parrot. I mix it in with nuts and I grind it all up so she has to eat the lettuce.
Yep. I do that with spinach and protein powder and bananas and all kinds of stuff in a smoothie. If I don't want my greens, got to mix it together.
So you said you had taken a class. How much education have you had, like on biology or rescue or turtles?
I minored in biology, but I like to think that I knew a lot of the things before I actually, got into school and whatnot. So I think a lot of my education doesn't come from formal education. It comes from just YouTube and online and all that type of stuff.
Okay.
There's a question in the chat from
Yes,
Bunny
sir.
Viper, and she wants to know if you'll talk about soft shell
Ooh,
turtles.
yes, please.
I love those stupid little pancakes. They are weird. They are, first of all, they get huge, massive, especially Florida soft shells. They will just get the size of a freaking dinner plate and a half. Second of all, they're not, they can be like aggressive and kind of snappy, but they can be personable. And not only that, there's no greater thing in the world, in my opinion, than giving a soft shell turtle sand. They go right in it and they'll stick their heads up and have their noses are kind of pig-esque. They're called the poor man's fly river turtle because there's a species from Papua New Guinea, New Zealand called the fly river turtle. Beautiful. It's like a freshwater sea turtle, it looks like. And so the soft shell turtle's like the next closest thing, but they're everywhere and very readily available. Hence, poor man's fly river turtle. But they got this little pig nose, also known as the pig nose turtle. And so they got these two little nostrils that they'll stick up out of the sand, and if they can reach, they'll stick it all the way and grab a breath of air and pull back in. And just watching them behave naturalistically is so cool. Soft shells are one of my favorites. They're cool, and the albinos look like raviolis.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
oh. Now I know you recently did a video, not recently maybe, but you've done videos on some of the smaller turtles.
Yes.
Which is where I got my ideas for my Eastern musk and my Reeves turtle. Do you have any of the smaller turtles?
No, I'm fake. I don't practice what I preach. I'm an elitist that only keeps what I want rather than things that I could have. Just because if I'm not going to give it my all, and if I'm limited on space, I'm going to keep only what I can. However, I would love a someone on YouTube has like a 200 and something gallon tank, huge acrylic tank, filled with plants, filled with live bears, filled with snails, and they have musk turtles that live in it and breed in it. They have like a basking area with sand in it. Like that's so cool. Because to me, I think that a lot of fish keepers can get their toes wet by starting to get with like a small musk, like an eastern mud turtle, something like that. You give it plenty of driftwood and you just stick on a basking spot. And they don't bask all that much, but you still have to provide it for them. And you can do something really cool. Or spotted turtle, if you're in a place where it's illegal to keep them.
Yeah.
I love them, but they'll eat the fish more than a musk would.
Right.
Or mud
Oh,
turtle.
the musk try so hard, but
They just
can't seem to catch it.
They're just silly. But you can keep like a breeding population even if you have enough space and enough live plants and whatnot. Just seeing them interact with the plants and walk, like swimming around. And they're one of the species, interestingly enough, that I think kind of doesn't mind a tank. Some others, they'll be swimming at the corners all the time.
Right.
Musk and muds, they're like kind of content and they don't get huge. So you can provide for them, 40-gallon tank. It's like, you're good.
Right. The hardest part is finding anyone who sells them because they need to be at least 4 inches to sell, and some of them don't ever get 4 inches. Unless you get a full-grown.
Unless you get them for scientific or educational purposes only, much like most of the turtles under 4 inches are sold, including the ones that I sell.
Right. Mine as well, at reptile shows and breeders and things like that. But not too many people go to those unless.
Yeah, I have a friend that he gives them away so long as you prove that you can provide for them and take care of them and whatnot. And that's the thing. Like that was with the Aquarium Society. I wanted blue dream shrimp so badly.
Yeah.
This guy was like, "Show me a tank. Let me see everything set up well." And he's like, "All right, like take them." Gave me like 15 of them, and I lost it. Like that was so cool. And so the same thing happens with some turtle people.
Yeah.
If they have something that is doing well for them, and it's someone that they trust. If you make those connections and you talk to someone, like for me, I'm going to downsize my spotted turtles. If anyone, except I know you're in Pennsylvania, but
I want to move right now out of Pennsylvania.
No, it's not even like a sales thing, because sometimes you can get away with it where as long as it's not a transaction. Because honestly, if you want to, I just send them to you. But like I want them to go to someone who cares and will take care of them and maybe has a group of them or whatever, wants to get into them or whatever the case may be. And there's a lot of breeders like that. When it's an eastern mud turtle and it's like, do I want $40 or do I want this animal to go to someone that will love it, keep it forever, cherish it?
Right. And I think that's the reason why behind the law it says I can only be in possession of one eastern musk, so that I'm not breeding them, or one eastern painted turtle, so I'm not breeding them. But I would love to breed musk turtles. Like, are you kidding?
They're cute. They're so cute, and there will come a day when I have a big old tank inside that's just filled with them.
And some people say that they need to be in shallower water, but they are amazing swimmers.
They can be, so long as you give them the tools that they need to get to the surface. This is coming from me, who's paranoid. Like turtles will find ways to kill themselves in so many fun different ways. I flipped over on the basking dock and I baked to death. I got out of my enclosure and met a raccoon that I made friends with. Or I decided, that piece of wood that you had next to the tank? I shoved myself in there and drowned.
And
you had that pump that was uncovered that one day? Don't worry, I'm going to get my foot stuck and drown myself. Like, they are kind of psychotic, but so I'm paranoid about things like that, so I always have to provide.
I couldn't even begin to tell you how many times I've rescued my turtles when they flipped over.
Oh yeah. Just in general. So things like that, like giving them, driftwood or whatever it may be, or plants to get to the surface. That would, just in case. Yes, they're great swimmers, but until they're not, So.
Yeah, and get stuck between a rock and the side of the tub and
Mm-hmm.
all kinds of good stuff that you have to like rescue them once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you
Here's
dumb
a,
joke, what are you doing now?
Yep, I know they're insane. Here's a fun question: a soft-shell turtle with big, leafy-looking feet. It came from Virginia, so we go like this: Virginia native soft-shell turtle. Probably an eastern spiny or something like that. Here we go: turtles of Virginia on the Virginia Herpetological Society. Eastern spiny soft-shell. There we
Yep,
go.
you got it.
Make sure that was it. But yeah, so like quick Google search and you're set. Yep, that is the only species of soft shell in Virginia. That's it.
Do you have any experience at all with tortoises?
Yes, I have one. I got my first tortoise not long ago from my friend who sent it to me, a redfoot tortoise. I was so scared. I still am because I don't want to mess things up. However, it's like with the terrapins, basically, or any other turtles. It's like kind of keep it simple, stupid, and especially if you get it during the summer or something like that, it can be kind of hard to like mess up. So long as you keep it, like I have a screened-in porch, so I keep it there. The humidity is really nice, it's warm. It gets rain. I refill the water dish and just feed it. It's like talk to people who know what they're doing and they'll tell you to stop. Like the same way that I'll talk to some terrapin turtle people and I'm like, stop worrying, you're overthinking it, you're being like a helicopter mom. That was the same way that my friends were with me with this tortoise. I was like, I put saran wrap to keep the humidity and blah blah blah. They're like, don't worry about it, just get it out during the summer.
Yeah, I have 3 redfoot. I have 1 cherry head and 2 redfoot. Yeah, and I love my redfoot tortoise family. I love them.
They're sweet.
The only biggest challenge is when they were babies, keeping them humid enough. That's it.
Correct.
But in Pennsylvania, it's a little different than when you are. It's naturally humid there, right?
Correct. I'm on the coast too, so that helps a lot. Yeah, they do fine.
And I'm just learning now about estivation.
Yep.
I never knew anything about that. I only knew about brumation and hibernation.
Correct.
And some of my tortoises were gone. And I found them about 9 inches down under the ground towards the chicken coop. And they were estivating because we've had 2-3 weeks of 100-degree weather and they don't like it. So they found their own coolness to stay sleeping for a while. I was so relieved. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh, you have no, yeah. I call it turtle heart attack.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I've lost them. I've been missing them. I had one that was gone for 2 weeks at a time.
Oh my gosh.
He reappeared one day just covered in dirt. And I was like, where were you? I checked the camera, nowhere.
Down under.
Oh, I had another one for 3 straight days because it was hot out. I have this mini pond that I built, but it also kind of acts as a settlement tank. So there's like 4 inches of like just dirt, sand, whatever at the bottom. And he's just in it. He's just in it for like 4 days. Like, didn't even come up for air. I'm like, how did you do that? I don't question it. That's some of the problems with giving them such a natural environment is that you like
they do that.
Lose them and they'll do that. But usually they do their thing and they're okay. Usually. My box turtle, my Chinese box turtle, I lost this winter. And I thought that it came up underneath and got out. Nope, I lost it. I dug and dug and dug. Couldn't find it. Waited until March when it started to get warmer. I started digging and there it was, like towards the surface.
Nice.
I lost my box turtle once when I was a kid, but I was catching at grasshoppers.
Yep.
And it just walked off and disappeared. But I got it back about 2 months later.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And a kid found it about 2 miles away from my house. But see, all through school, he always went to school with me for show and tell and everything. So everybody knew who he was.
I see.
And when this kid found my turtle, he brought him back to me.
That's fantastic. I always save stories like that because people will post on Facebook sometimes like crazy stories. I always save them. I just found one that was a Russian tortoise missing for 3 years. Oh yeah, and like through the winter. And they'll be in places where they shouldn't be able to survive the winter. A Russian tortoise will survive winters like in most of North America. but someone was missing an Aldabra tortoise in Florida,
Oh,
and it survived like half the winter somehow. It was like slightly dehydrated or something like that, but otherwise it was fine. There was a fun one of a dude in Thailand who had gotten a diamondback terrapin from a neighboring country. I forget where it was, and it was supposed to come, within like 3 or 4 days, and it got stuck in transit, and he's
Oh.
posting about it for 32 days. It was stuck, and he's expecting, I'm just going to get a shell, like it's going to be dead, like this is going to be. He opened that box, and that little son of a gun came out as if it was in there for like less than a day. And trying to like crawl around and like totally, like they are
oh my gosh, that's awesome. That's a good news story.
a month in a box.
Yeah.
Totally fine. No, it's fine. It's fine.
Well, I was moving my Central American ornate wood turtles, right?
Yeah.
And there was an egg, just one. So I shine a light on its fertile. So I have it in an 80-degree moist box, and I'm hoping, but I've never been successful with this before, but this is two of my favorite turtles of all.
If they did it once, those are kind of hard to breed, like a little bit. Like people have found that they're sometimes kind of finicky.
I think he only mates underwater.
Good for him.
Because I went to like give him food and he swam to get the food and she was still attached. I'm like, oh, excuse me. Sorry. I'm doing it.
Yep. Mine usually do that in the mornings, early mornings. So I have never had that where they're like locked together. But I have seen on my camera only once I've ever seen actual, because they lock. That's what happens.
It's locked. He was, yeah.
Yeah, the males even have a hard time pulling off. But all of a sudden I look on my camera, I see one of the females swimming.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's awesome.
So I have an egg, and I don't know anything about this. And I saw on yours it was like about 80 degrees, kind of keep it covered, vermiculite, not wet, but not dry.
You do like a foam cooler, like with a little bit of water. So I always do like 100% humidity. Someone asked me like, what's the humidity in the styrofoam box? I'm like 100, like 98, 99.
Well,
whatever.
mine is in one of those front opening 40-gallon breeders, and I have that what you call that turtle island.
Okay.
That's buried in there, filled with water and a bubbler to keep it moist. And I got propagating some philodendrons in there and stuff, so I'm misting it. And
Oh, you're good.
yeah,
Some of these eggs, they're like kind of foolproof. Like they're kind of foolproof. Like they are way tougher than people give them credit for. I mean, I knew someone who would take terrapin eggs, which are supposed to be at minimum like 78, 76 degrees, stick them in like 72-degree room, like a room temperature, terrible humidity and everything. And like they hatch. They don't hatch, as robust or as strong, but they would hatch and they would end up eating and surviving and doing.
wow. So there's a good chance this is going to work out.
I would say is it her first
Yes.
egg ever?
Yes. And I've had them since they were about 3 inches, and now they're about 6-7 inches. So
That's very good.
and these guys are gorgeous. It's one of those 300 tin tubs that's long.
Yeah. I
Like
know.
half water, half land, because she likes to bury herself. She just buries herself. So I'm
Same
hoping.
same enclosure, yeah, for like a while.
Yeah. Yeah, but I got to close it every night because of the raccoons, and I got to open it every morning, and
That rocks.
I got to make a lid for it that's a screen lid to keep the raccoons out, so I don't have to keep.
Maybe there's some more eggs and they're buried.
There could be. Hopefully, they'll come out on their own.
They should. That's what I'm saying. If it's outside and you miss them, like I missed mine, 2 years ago, they know what to do. It was the day after a storm. Check early morning if there's like a big thunderstorm or something coming. Although you'll have no idea when they actually laid them, because usually, like terrapins, they go 2 to 3 weeks in between flushes. So like I know when to look.
Right.
But for
Central American ornate wood turtle, they are gorgeous.
they're beautiful,
Gorgeous.
so underrated, and people, don't keep them usually because they're available so much. But like that doesn't take away from the fact that they're so
I love them.
freaking pretty. They're like, they're so cool. I love when we get into like South American wood turtles. They get like really cool, really fast, and a lot of species I don't have experience with.
And so personable. And I'm starting a earthworm farm because these guys go through so many worms, like it's crazy.
Yes,
I just put in a couple dozen and let them go into the dirt, and then the turtles find them.
they find them or compost.
Yep.
At the TSA, we did a compost, and there were the red wigglers, and they're gut loaded with.
That's what I'm doing. The red wiggler farm.
Yep, they rock. Those things are awesome.
I also have axolotl, so I need a lot of red wigglers, man.
Okay. Yep. Fair enough. I have never ventured because I know that they're so like kind of hyper specific on requirements, and I don't like to get things unless I'm like ready.
Cold. They like it cold. They wouldn't like South Carolina outside. That's for sure.
Exactly. And even inside, you know,
You got to be 60 degrees about, yeah.
Yeah, no, my house is like ambient 76 because I have babies, and I'm like, they need to be warm, and I'm sweating at night. I'm like, well, they're happy.
Yeah, I got a fan on me now because this room is so hot.
Yep.
They need it hot, though. Oh, my God. This is so awesome, Dan.
Yeah, thank you.
Loved it.
Did we go over? We went so over, I wasn't even paying attention, guys. I'm sorry.
My bad.
I couldn't stop talking.
Yeah. We're just a little bit over an hour or so.
Sorry.
Yeah,
And
we're
we
always.
just had how cool it is that you said, yes, we have so many people that are not responding to us because we're small channels. We're just doing it for the fun. We want to get information out there. And people are like, no, we're not interested, or no, we can't do this, or people just don't even respond. And then you were like, responded right away, positive. I'm like,
I'm in 100%. It's fun.
It is
I
fun.
hear 2 people watch. It's fun, and they're like, I don't know, it's just fun. It's a good time. I like like-minded people. I like to talk with them, and I'd been watching your channel for a minute as I saw that you were doing some. I'm always googling terrapin stuff, and I don't know, seeing them in Pennsylvania is always fun.
my channel?
Yeah. I'd watch yours
God,
like
somebody help me. Ah,
3 years ago. I think I found it, and I'd been like keeping up since then.
that's so cool. Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. I just want to say before we close up that I'm just a little bit envious of that egg, Susie.
So is that feeling insane?
Yeah.
Insane when you dig it up.
Yes. And then I figured it wasn't fertile, and I did my iPhone candlelight, and I'm like, it's fertile.
That was exactly me. On my videos, I had said, oh, the male's 3 years old, that's kind of young. The female's 3 years old, that's kind of young. Odds of them being fertile. 6
You were
babies later.
so authentic when you're like, look what I found. Look what I found.
I was freaking. That was the greatest day of my life, like to this
Yeah.
day, I think.
Okay. Well, want to thank everybody who came out tonight, everybody in chat, lurkers, mods, replay crew, everybody. Make sure you're subbed to Dan and everybody on the panel. Mod's been throwing out the links all night, and the links are also in the description.
Yes, thank you, Mod. That's awesome.
So, any final words, Dan?
Thank you guys for having me. This was a freaking blast. I appreciate it. I
Oh,
appreciate
it was
you all.
lots of fun.
I love the aquatics. I love the fish community. Like, that's still my origins. So I love what you guys are doing. Keep it up.
Mike, don't forget to thank our awesome producer backstage.
Oh, Dee Dee, where's she? Bring her on. Bring her on.
Bring her out.
All right, Dee Dee, here you come.
She says, "Oh no, I don't."
And on the spot. On the spot.
Thanks,
you,
Dee
Dee.
Dee Dee hangs out backstage and posts questions for us so we can keep up with chat.
And she also co-hosts the Aquatic Morning Show. It's on like 4 or 5 days in the morning. It's really great, informational. It's like a 2-hour long. You can do it while you're listening, changing water and stuff. And it's just great.
She's
Oh,
on
and
the
Jess is
Tennessee
getting
Fish
into more
Mafia,
and more
too.
of reptilian too.
I know, isn't that great?
Mm-hmm.
Let
We'll
the
convert, yeah.
cold-bloodedness flow.
Awesome.
Representation.
We'll get you to get a reptile here before you know it.
I'm working on my little annul.
Yeah, there you go.
That's it for me.
That's all you need sometimes. It's fun.
Susie, any final words?
No, I am so excited. Thank you so much, Dan. This was awesome. I've been a huge fan. Could I not? Never put together Dan the Guppy Guy and Dan the Turtle Man. I'm like, isn't that funny? All these Dans are Dan this and Dan that, and it's the same Dan.
Yeah, it's me.
Dan Bucks Comic Crime Society.
It's me. It's
Mind
me.
blown.
Oh yeah.
I got to talk about you at the next meeting.
Oh my god. That's just them all. I love everyone there. They were all so nice. Like
I'm telling you, I tell people all the time, I've never felt more welcome and more part of anywhere than the Bucks County Aquarium Society.
I agree. 110%. Oh, I still have a piece of driftwood that I bought for $32 at their auction in 2016. I still have it. I love that.
Their auctions are the best. Their yearly auction. Yep.
They rock. I'll make it back one day.
Yeah.
All right. Bob, any final words?
No, thank you so much. Really enjoyed it and learned a lot. So.
Yes, sir.
Pam?
Thank you for having me.
Oh, June wants to get a few of his turtles. Looks like.
Ah.
I got some. I'm overflowing with babies, so they will be ready in like probably 2 weeks because I need to get them eating and growing, and then I'm like, all right, you guys are good to go. But yeah.
Pam, any final words? I know turtles
No, it was
are
great. It
your
was a
jam.
lot of fun. Thank you very much for coming on.
Absolutely.
That was pretty cool.
Thank you very much, Dan. I knew this was going to be good, and it was. So
Thank you. Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me. I
appreciate your knowledge.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
All right, everybody. Everybody have a great night, and we'll see you next week. Things are a little bit up in the air about next week still, so stay tuned.
Bye, guys.
Take care, everybody. Peace.
Entertainers.